Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Tres Leches Sports Podcast, brought to you in conjunction with El Mundo Boston. My name is Gilly Matos, as always, joined by my friends and my colleagues, La Voz de los Boston Red Sox, Uri Berenguer. How you doing, Yuri?
Gil, what's up, brother? I'm doing good, man. It's finally eggnog season, so I'm doing good. Some spiked eggnog, can't go bad, but I'm doing all right.
We got to get some coquito or something. Some Caribbean eggnog.
I'll settle for some eggnog for now.
Also joined by Omar Cabrera, the reporter for New England Revolution and the New England Patriots. What's up, O? How you doing?
Hey, guys, man. It's great to be back on track. Happy holidays, man. I missed you guys the last couple of weeks. It's great to be here again tonight, doing what we do best.
That's right. And as always, Tres Leches Sports Podcast, we're going to bring you guys 3 different topics in the world of sports. We're also going to bring you guys Caribbean eggnog, known as coquito, right? But anyways, guys, we're going to start off with the Pats here. You know, Bill Belichick and Cam Newton have the Patriots in playoff contention, remarkably, at 6-6 with 4 games left. The team that has been written off by many, including every single person on this podcast right now, is still in the playoff hunt. What are your thoughts on Bill, Cam, and the Pats? Omar, let's start off with you. What are your thoughts on this team?
Oh, man. Hey, you know what? Like you said.
Wait. You don't ask Omar that question. What you ask Omar is this. Omar, what are your thoughts this time on this team? That's how you ask Omar.
What a hater, man. What a hater. Hey, I was just about to admit I've been one of those who wrote him off and then, I took him back. So, you know what? I'm a culprit. I'm sorry.
Wrote him off, wrote him on.
Hey, all experts make mistakes. I'm sorry. But Gil, getting back to your question, you know what, man? It's still hard to tell. Like you said, 6-6. I like the fact that they still have a chance to make the playoff. It's still going to be a long road. It's going to be really hard. But just the fact that they're still in it, it makes it interesting, and we have to give Bill Belichick a lot of credit. Am I ready to give him the award for Coach of the Year? No, not yet. I'd rather wait until the end of the season for my verdict. But if they make the playoff, I'll tell you right now, I'm definitely considering him for the Coach of the Year. Man, he's done a great job so far with whatever he had on that team. You always say, man, he has a high school offense, and we have to agree on that, But he's doing some miracles, man. The last couple of games they won is because, Bill Belichick has done a great job. The defense has been amazing the last couple of weeks. But you also got to give McDaniel some credit, man. I think he's done a good job with Cam Newton. Cam Newton, you know what? I'm willing to give him a pass on this, though. If he had the opportunity to have a full preseason, training before the season started, I think he would be so much better. Man, we criticize him all the time and everything, but I think a full, a preseason under his belt and with better weapons, I think Cam Newton, you know what, he can do some damage. And we've seen him do that. I know, unfortunately, we've seen him doing that more with his legs than with his arm. But I think Cam Newton with a full preseason, he will be much dangerous for the Patriots. And I can see him, having a better year next season if the Patriots decide to bring him back.
I do want to be clear that I don't, because I don't get my ass kicked by any Patriot players. I don't mean that the players are high school players. I mean that the style of offense is like a high school offense with the option and all that. Yuri, this team is 6-6. They're playing hard for Bill Belichick. What are your thoughts on this team and what they're accomplishing so far?
I want to say this. You said they're written off by each and every one of everyone in the show. I'm the one who was the most optimistic in this. I resisted calling them a playoff team because, again, I'm still not sure that they are going to be. But I said they were in the playoff hunt, and I said I'll remind you guys of this. The biggest thing that we've learned is we already knew this. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind, and you don't doubt Bill Belichick. You just can't do it, guys, because this is what he does over and over again. And Gil, you're actually a guy who said this over and over again over the years. You've always said this to me, and you're absolutely right. What do the Bill Belichick teams do? They get better as the season progresses. They play their best football in December and January, and guess what? That's what we've seen again this year. They, forget about that horrendous October, but from November on, we've seen not a great Patriots team, but we've seen a pretty damn good Patriots team. We've seen a pretty damn good Patriots team. Nah, don't look at me that way. They've won 3 of the last 4. Come on now.
Okay.
They beat Arizona. You wrote them off against everybody.
No.
Now, and the whole Cam Newton thing, what we have to understand, and this is, and you're right, Omar, that you know what, maybe he was hurt for not having a full a training camp, maybe this and that. The reality is that we as New England Patriots fans have to stop asking him to be Tom Brady. Guess what? He's not Tom Brady. He's not Tom Brady. He can throw. I mean, he threw for almost 300 yards against the Seahawks. That, well, what, second game of the year? But that's not what you're going to see from Cam Newton. Game in and game out. What we see from Cam Newton now is the Cam Newton I think that we're going to see for the remainder of his career. Maybe he'll adjust a little bit more. Maybe if he had some more weapons, he would throw a little bit more. But he's not an accurate thrower. He's never been an accurate thrower. He's a guy who just finds a way to compete. He's a football player. He's an athlete. Has he been great? No. Has he been good? No. I think he's been mediocre. But the fact of the matter is, we still have Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has proven that he is, over and time and time again, he's proven that he is the best coach in the NFL. Will I give him the Coach of the Year award? I can't do that right now because there are so many other coaches that candidates ahead of him. But I will tell you this: he's absolutely in the running. He should be considered. And I think this is muddy to the waters a little bit more to those who have that eternal debate of who's better. Is it did Tom Brady make Bill Belichick, or did Bill Belichick make Tom Brady? I think that argument is one that the waters are muddy all over again. You just can't. You really can't decide. Can't go for one and not the other.
I hate that argument.
Yeah, I know.
I hate that argument.
I know.
Here's my thing with Cam Newton. I like what he's doing. They're asking him to basically, be a game manager and win games with his legs. He threw for 69 yards last week. I mean, that's crazy in an NFL game. Definitely, I don't know if it's more of an indication of his talents or if it's an indication of the lack of talent that the offense has. Because obviously undrafted Jacoby Myers is your best player, but this team is finding ways to win. They're winning ugly. They're doing it with defense. They're doing it with special teams. They're doing it with running the ball down your throat. Is it a team that could come back if they fall behind? No, because they don't have that type of offense. They're not going to be able to, score points really quickly or anything like that. But it's a team that if they get ahead, they're definitely gonna run the ball down your throat and keep you down. So, I think it's a very interesting team to watch in that sense. I like that Bill's playing the younger guys. Something that has been a knock on him all the time is that he doesn't like playing young players, and he is playing the young guys like Uche. So he's getting those guys in, Duggar. So those guys are showing what they're made of. And you know what? I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was criticizing him for not playing young guys. For where are these young guys? These drafts are bust and everything. They've been showing the past couple of weeks that they can play, that they do have some talent there. So, am I ready to give him Coach of the Year? No, I think, I down the road for me here in Miami, I think Brian Flores is going to win that one with what he's done with that team. You can also go to New Orleans and make a case for them as well. But I think he's done a remarkable job with this team and has them playing hard. And guys, let's be honest, we're all Patriots fans here. It makes Sundays fun again, right? Because when they're horrible, you're not really going to check it out. You might have it on in the background, but you're not really going to watch it, right? So, but it's been fun to watch this team, though.
Are you still sold on the Dolphins? I hear you. You mentioned Flores there.
I am. I think that team plays very hard for him. I think he's a great coach. I think you saw them get in a fight, and Flores is trying to fight players on the Bengals, and players love that type of stuff. And I think they rally around him, and to a man, they absolutely love that guy, and they play very hard for him. And
it's disappointed me.
Well, he's another guy's got a lot to learn. He could have benefited from a full camp as well. So.
And you know what, guys, and Omar and you and I got into this one, but the Patriots and the Dolphins have to play one more time. They got one more game left to go, and we play in Miami. The game is in Miami, where yes, historically it's always been hell for the Patriots. But I got to be honest with you guys, from what I've seen or what I haven't seen from Tua, going up against Bill Belichick's defense, dude, I'm giving the Patriots more of a chance. I'm giving them a hell of a chance to take that game.
Yeah, they definitely have a chance there. But the one thing to mark with Miami is that their defense is really good as well, and their special teams are really good as well. So it's a team modeled as of the Patriots. Like Flores. Obviously a Belichick disciple. So it's going to be interesting. The division is very fun to watch right now. I know who's not winning Coach of the Year. That's Adam Gase.
I think we might all agree on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be fun. Hey, it's a football season. It's been fun, and it's going to continue to be fun, guys. What was fun and may not be fun for so much longer, for too much longer, is the whole universal DH in Major League Baseball. We got a report that Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic reports that Major League Baseball is advising its members clubs about the near-term future of the DH rule in the National League. Rosenthal writes, MLB instructed their clubs in a memo last week to proceed under the assumption that the DH will not be used in the National League this year, though few will complain if the league and the union reach an agreement to the contrary. Gil, you and I were down with this. We loved it. We thought it, not only did we like it going into this last shortened season, this COVID shortened season, we want to see it continue. You and I are on board. What do you think about this? Should baseball, or will they implement it this season, and should they? And what are we going to look at?
I think they definitely should implement the DH because, as we've spoken many times before, who wants to see pitchers hit? But the one thing, this is MLB in a nutshell, right? It's December. It's almost Christmas time, and we still haven't made the decision on whether or not there's going to be DHs in the NL or not. Move on under the assumption that why are we assuming things? It's MLB. This is Major League Baseball. It's a professional sports league. Why isn't the commissioner making this decision and being like, that it's going to be this way or that way, right? This is the most MLB story ever. Who the hell wants to see pitchers hit? Like, seriously, everybody, the purist.
I know one guy.
The purist over there. I mean, listen, this is like, we've discussed this before. This is like, do I want to see Tom Brady, playing linebacker? No, it's not their strength. Why do we want to see Clayton Kershaw running around the bases, or Max Scherzer running around the bases, or Shane Bieber, risking injury trying to run around the bases? It's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to me. It's 2020. Why are we still even talking about this?
Because it's Major League Baseball. Your question you ask, you say, why you ask? Why you ask? Well, what do we ask? Oh, I know you love it, dude. You're the one who loves watching the pitchers hit. You're the one who wants it to stay the way it is. Talk to us, brother. What do you think about this?
Guys, I'm going to start with the same thing I told you last time. You just mentioned it. I'm a purist. And Gil, I'm going to answer your question because we've been watching this since 1973. Well, I wasn't born then, but, people who follow baseball since then, they've been watching that, the DH hit in the American League. It's been the difference between the American League and the National League. And, I think that's what makes a difference. You take this away from the National League, what's going to be the difference between both leagues? What's going to differentiate both leagues? And I like that. It's not just going to be like in any other league. You have the East versus the West. It's not going to be no more National League versus American League. It's just going to be like, oh, here you got the American League.
But hasn't interleague play taken that away anyways, though?
True.
The mystique that used to exist isn't there anymore. I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're Mr. Baseball, but hasn't that mystique gone once interleague play started? I understand the mystique before of these teams have never seen each other,
You took the words right out of my mouth, actually. That was what I was going to say after finished giving his ridiculous excuses as to why I should say. After you finished that, I was going to say, that mystique is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. You have these supposed rival games, how are the Boston Red Sox and the Atlanta Braves rivals? How are they natural rivals? I don't know. They try to force this stuff down our throats, and it's just not there. We've been doing it since 1996 or whatever. And by the way, it's year round. It's not like it's the interleague games. A chunk of them in May and in June. No, it's year round. We're playing the National League in April through September. So I do believe that intrigue is completely gone. I mean, I really think it's silly. I think it's just like anything else in baseball. They take forever to make a decision, and they're resistant to any change. Any change in baseball takes hell and high water to go through.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of it's kind of like saying if the Western Conference in the NBA they play a different type of basketball than the Eastern Conference. It just doesn't make sense to me at this point. But
it's the same game.
One of them is allowed to dunk, and the other one shoot for 3 points. But guys, a few days ago, former pound-for-pound king Floyd Mayweather confirmed on his social media channels that he will be fighting YouTube star Logan Paul in an exhibition bout in February. Yuri, we all love boxing here, but is this something that you will watch What do you make of this?
You know what, guys? I've been going back and forth with this thing. Initially, I think the hater in me took over because I'm like, I think this thing's so stupid. That was my initial. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is absurd. This is so stupid. It really is. And then I got to thinking to myself, and I'm like, yeah, that's part of it is the hater in me. Because I'm like, you know what? If it was me, if I was Roy Jones Jr., which, by the way, I hate almost everything about Roy Jones Jr. Excuse me, not Roy Jones. Excuse me, I apologize.
Mayweather.
Mayweather.
Yeah.
If I was Floyd Mayweather, and I figured out what he figured out a long time ago, I'd probably do the same thing. What did he figure out? Well, he figured out that he does have this amazing God-given talent of boxing. He's an amazing boxer. Simple as that. Whether you want to accept it or not, he is. He figured that out early on. Then he figured out that he can make money boxing. Then he figured out he can make even more money avoiding the big fights, avoiding getting hit, avoiding having to fight, Manny Pacquiao. 10 years before he actually did, avoiding those actual boxers that could probably knock him on his ass. He figured that out, and hey, I can hate on him all I want, but he did it. He's undefeated. Then he figured out, hey, I can do this till I'm 40, till I'm 50. Why? Because I don't have to fight boxers anymore. I don't have to fight boxers. I have to, I can fight McGregor and make $1 gazillion off of that. Oh, this kid, what's his name again? What is he? What's his name? What's his name? Paul what?
Paul Logan? Logan
Yeah,
Paul?
there we go. Logan Paul. And, throw that guy at me. He's like, and the fact is, I'm sorry, but there are a lot of idiots in the U.S. There are a lot of idiots in the U.S. that will buy. Well, they will pay to watch this. He's got them just like this. Yes, simple as that. And it also tells you this. And also, on a more serious note, it actually speaks volumes about the status of boxing, of where the boxing game is at. Guys, we just watched the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight, and that was disgusting. Mike actually looked pretty good. Roy Jones was, even in my own words, was the better boxer and faster and younger and this and that. The guy looked like crap. But we watched it, right? We watched it. At the end, they finished off as a tie. But do you realize that more than 1 million people bought that fight? More than 1 million people paid to watch that fight. That's more. They beat out more the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson.
Tyson Fury.
Fury fight.
Because Mike Tyson's a draw. So
that's exactly what I'm telling you. That talks to you about the status of boxing. The status of boxing in this day and age. They don't have that draw anymore. They have to go to the old dog to bring in the viewers, the old dog to drag people in and make them buy these pay-per-views. But the guys that are fighting nowadays, they don't have that. That tells you a lot about the sport.
The undefeated American had been retired since 2017 when he beat UFC superstar Conor McGregor, but the 43-year-old performed an exhibition bout in 2018, knocking out undefeated kickboxer Tenshin Nasukawa on December 31st of that year.
3 times he knocked him down.
Yeah, 3 times. What do you think of this bout? Are you going to watch it?
Of course I'm going to watch it. I buy everything, though. I'm the worst person to ask. I buy every fight.
Now we know whose house are we going to.
I'm the terrible person to ask. But, guys, it's like, I'm going to say this straight out. I'm going to look straight in the camera and tell this to all the little Logan and Jake Paul minions that are out there that will probably, like, I don't know. If they were watching this, they would be all over our social medias yelling at us and calling us nicknames that we don't understand what they're saying. But anyway, to all the Logan Paul and Jake Paul minions, guys, don't expect to see what Jake Paul did to Nate Robinson happen now with Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. He's not going to knock him out. He's not going to put him to sleep, guys. Floyd Mayweather is the best defensive fighter of his, possibly of all time. You can argue him and Sweet Pea Whitaker, certainly. You can argue that one of the best defensive fighters. It doesn't matter that Logan Paul's going to be 50 pounds heavier than him. It doesn't matter that Logan Paul's taken a few boxing lessons and knows the sport at a remedial level. Floyd Mayweather's been doing this since he was like 3 years old, guys. All right? He's been doing this since he's 3 years old. He's going to make this fight last as long as he wants it to last. If he wants to knock him out in the first round, he will knock him out in the first round. He will make him look absolutely silly. I have a feeling since it's an exhibition, they're going to make it play along like he did with Conor McGregor, because let's be honest, guys, he could have knocked McGregor out at any point in that fight. He wasn't doing the things he normally does in boxing. He wasn't doing that in that fight just to carry the fight along. Probably an agreement they had. But, I think Dana White, the UFC president,
Conor McGregor's biggest paycheck.
Yeah. And I think Dana White, the UFC president, had the best quote. You mentioned the state of boxing where it is right now. And Dana White said, when people ask me, what's the state of boxing right now? That's where it's at. Didn't that kid get beat up by a bleeping video game kid from England? And now he's going to fight Floyd Mayweather?
Yep.
Exactly the point.
That's the state of boxing. It's really sad, guys, because, I think we all grew up more or less around the same time. And, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that boxing was still, at the top of the world. I mean, it doesn't seem
matches.
Like what's that?
Matches. A lot of good fights.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the sad part, right? But I know I'm the minority here because I follow the sport hardcore, and there are still a lot of really good fights. It was a really good fight this past weekend, Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, a welterweight title fight. But the fact is, like, the general public doesn't know him like they used to. They don't know. There isn't an Oscar De La Hoya. There isn't a Felix Trinidad. There isn't a Mike Tyson. There isn't a Roy Jones. There aren't those big names anymore. And I don't know if it's because the audience has gone more to MMA and UFC in more particular. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if it's just the boxing business, the boxing model is broken. And
because millennials are idiots. That's all. That's all. Millennials are dummies. They have no idea what the hell they're watching. Leave it to millennials to ruin boxing.
I think you're a millennial. I think you fall under the age group.
No, I don't.
Yeah. I think you mean the next gen there, Gen Y or Z or whatever it is. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know what it is. And you're gonna get all the Jake Paul and Logan Paul people writing on you now.
Yeah, good. I gotta make money somehow. Hey, if Floyd Mayweather can make money fighting him, I can make money fighting him on the cyber world, I guess,
Trolling them.
Yes.
That's right. Well, guys, we reached the final segment here of the show, the abrazo or the chancletazo, where we give somebody a hug or a spanking with a flip-flop. And let's start off with you. What do you got this week? I know, it's been a couple of weeks, so I imagine you got some stuff brewing there. What do you got?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely, guys. Well, mine is recent. A big abrazo to the New England Revolution for making it all the way to the conference final this year. Yes, they lost 1-0 to the better team, Columbus Crew, but the future is bright for this team, guys. Since Bruce Arena took over that team last year, they made it to the playoff for the first time in 6 years. And, despite all the issues and problems they had this year with COVID, you know what? They were only one game away from making it to another finals. And I know they're going to be back there soon, hopefully next year. So for that, they get a big abrazo from me to all the New England Revolution players and all the New England Revolution fans.
Hey, oh yeah, and yes, congrats to the Revolution. But I got a question. Why the hell is soccer so damn boring to watch in English? Why the hell is it so boring to watch it in English, dude?
It is different.
You watch soccer in Spanish, and it's pretty damn cool. It's pretty awesome. I watch every single game of the World Cup in Spanish.
Give us a comparison. I know you're not a soccer. I know you're not a soccer play-by-play, but give us a comparison.
In Spanish? I mean, obviously,
just so our viewers can compare the energy level.
Okay, well here you go. I'll do what I do in baseball. Here you go. El lanzamiento, la pierna arriba, el lanzamiento, batazo elevado, jardín derecho, la bola busca rumbo, despídanse de la blanca. That's a one-run home run. You're winning 15-1, and that's a home run in the ninth inning. Now,
if you just tune in, you'll be like, damn, that must be a close game.
Exactly. Now, in English, it's here's a swing, and over the right field wall, home run, 15-1. That's what I felt. That's what I felt when I was watching that Revolution game. I'm like, oh my God, I can't watch this. I could not watch it. I mean, it's awful. Why is it? Why?
Now, you know what? I completely understand where you're coming from because a lot of people have complained about that. But also, I have to be fair. I have some colleagues who do it in English, and they do a heck of a job, and they're exciting. But the game you're watching, I definitely understand why you felt like that.
No disrespect to them, I don't know who they are, but
I will put you in touch with them next time there's a game going on. You can watch my man Brad Feldman, and you'll be happy with the way he broadcasts the games. He does a great job, and he puts all the energy, all the excitement into it, just like you do, with the baseball. But there's definitely some up there that makes you want to change the channel.
Yeah. During the World Cup, I always watch the Univision broadcast of the games in Spanish.
A lot of people do that, even if they don't understand what's going on or what they're saying. They do it because the excitement makes them tune in.
Is that so? Is that so? Have you heard that a lot of English speaking?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And even people, Portuguese people, because they usually they don't have it in Portuguese. The Brazilians, they rather watch either Telemundo or Univision because they want to watch it in Spanish as well.
Yeah. It's like for me, I guess it would be something like watching baseball, a Japanese broadcast. Have you ever heard of a Japanese broadcast? That's amazing. Those things are amazing. Those things
are great. Cool. Those guys are great.
Yeah.
What do you got this week, Gary?
Guys, I'm going to go with a chancletazo. I know that we're in the holiday season and everything should be, nice and warm and everything, but I guess I'm just not as nice as Omar. I got to go with a chancletazo because just when you think you can count on them, just when you think you have that they have the opportunity to rise up and shine and also give us a little hand here and there. The Cowboys show that they can't do anything right. The Cowboys just show that they suck. Oh my God!
So
Dude, you had 2 weeks. You had 2 full weeks to get ready to beat up on a beaten up Ravens team, and you couldn't do that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Did you watch that game? How can you prepare for a game for 2 weeks? Your opponent is all beaten up, all banged up, and they're playing on a short week, and you can't beat them? And you can't win that game? How? How is that possible? Oh my God. Dude, somebody needs to take the whole America's team crap. They need to take that away because that is disgusting. What we are watching from the Cowboys this year. Awful. All Cowboys fans, you guys are idiots. You guys are all idiots. Leave that team alone. Awful. Cowboys, big ass chocolate. That's what to you.
Well, as long as Jerry Jones is pushing the buttons and pulling the levers there, that's always going to be. They don't have like an actual real football guy there. They got the owner making the calls and everything, which is a little crazy. Guys, I'm going back to the boxing world here, and I'm going to give a chancletazo. We joked during the Tyson-Roy Jones fight or before it about the WBC creating the Frontier World Championship, right? The Frontline. Yeah, that's what it was. Frontline. We kept calling it Frontier. The Frontline World Championship, right? We made fun of them for creating that, but they took it another step in the sublime this week when they announced that they were creating an 18th weight class in boxing, the Bridgerweight division, which will feature fights between 200 and 224 pounds, which, guys, they have a tough time finding cruiserweights, and then some of these guys that are fighting heavyweights that weigh 270, 280. It's not fair for them if they're weighing like 220, right? But this is where the WBC gets even more ridiculous, right? Since they're so ridiculously extra, they named some guy named Oscar Rivas its number one contender in the division. Remember I said 200 to 224. Rivas' last 12 fights, his weight, 239, 234, 241, 238, 236, 233. The last time he was 224 or less was his second fight of his career in 2009. So way to go, WBC. Way to go. And guys, I know you guys are going to have a lot to say about this too, and I know it happened a few weeks ago, but I do want to give, I don't know, I guess a big collective hug to the soccer community. Obviously for after the death of Diego Armando Maradona, who obviously is considered by many, depending on who you're talking to, the best soccer player ever of all time, or certainly up there with Pelé. And the way I was trying to explain this to some of my American friends who don't follow soccer so much and don't understand is like, there is nothing equal to him in American sports. There's nobody who means that much to this country as he meant to Argentina and to the sport in general, right? There's nobody, you can say Jordan meaning something to the sport in general. Maybe that compares to that, but there's nothing even close that compares to Maradona. I remember the first time I went to Argentina, and I've gone many times, luckily with work, just seeing the murals everywhere of the word Dios with the number 10 in the middle of it everywhere. And the guy was truly treated like a god over there. So, guy would live the controversial life, a character larger than life as well. But certainly somebody who is gone, but absolutely will never be forgotten.
Well said, Don. Well said, man. You couldn't have said it better. I completely agree with everything you said. An awesome player, amazing player. Unfortunately, he made some bad personal decisions, but as a player, man, he was amazing to watch.
I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but I just made the cut to get to watch Maradona in his last few years. And I do remember my grandmother's the one who got me into watching the World Cup. I used to watch all the World Cup games with my grandma. She goes crazy for them. And those are my memories of of soccer growing up, but specifically actually watching the Argentine team and watching Diego Maradona and having my grandmother tell me about him, and that's who I learned about Maradona from. And then growing up and you see what this guy did to his life. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The guy just destroyed his life. At the end of the, he never stopped doing drugs. He never stopped getting into trouble, being controversial. I mean, the guy was really, he beat himself up. He beat his persona up. He beat his physique up. He was destroyed, and everybody saw it. I mean, he lived, that in the public spotlight. But even through that, he was still loved. He was still there was nothing he could do to ruin his image. There was nothing he could do to make him be, to fall off that platform that not just Argentina, but all of Latin America had him on.
Yeah, I think there was something very intriguingly human about him and his faults. He was a superhero athlete, but yet he had problems, even more problems than most of us. So there was that like adoration for him as well, and even on the personal side. But it's crazy. Yeah, I can't imagine walking in his shoes like that. Being treated like a god everywhere you go, and being human. So rest in peace for sure. And yeah. It's a big loss for the soccer world, right?
Way to end the show on a sad note, Gil. Way to go.
No. Actually, I'm going to finish it on a good note. And Gil, Yuri's so young compared to you and I that he's not a Maradona guy. He's a Messi guy.
No, I actually know less about Messi than I do Maradona, to be honest with you. But
oh, you're a Cristiano guy.
I would actually tell you I was more of a Ronaldo guy, not a Ronaldo, not a today's Ronaldo, but Ronaldo the Brazilian
Ronaldo.
Yes.
Well, guys, we reached the end of this episode of Tres Leches Sports Podcast. Be sure to like us on all the social media platforms. Make sure you check us out on there. And as always, guys, for Yuri, for Omar, for El Mundo Boston, I'm Gilly Matos. Have a great time, and we'll be back before the holidays. So we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Happy holidays.